2021. This will be a better year. Big things are coming in 2021, not just for the whole world, hopefully, but for Intensely Casual. Hi, I'm Logan. I'm someone who loves story and wants to help you improve your relationship with story, particularly commercial stories, the kinds that are made to ultimately make corporations money. Because I'm tired of watching people get super excited for stories like Lost or Game of Thrones, or even the new Star Wars movies, only to be profoundly disappointed by the end product. Let's be clear, you have a good reason to be disappointed. We here at Intensely Casual are dedicated to teaching you how you can forecast, with a reasonable degree of certainty, which stories will make you happy, and which stories, no matter how great they might seem on the surface, won't. We're going to do this not just with YouTube videos, but with film commentaries in which we apply the Intensely Casual method, and most of all with my book, The Intensely Casual Guide to Good Story, where I lay out, largely from a psychological perspective, what a story really is and what it needs to do in order to make us happy. This issue of prediction or forecasting matters because knowledge is useless if you can't use it to change your behavior. Moreover, in this age of huge franchises and endless television series, you need some method that'll help you decide whether or not you should invest your time and your money, and frankly, emotionally in a story early on in the process, before the end, before they've taken all your money and your time, right? And with that in mind, I want to go on the record right now with a couple of forecasts for some pretty big story properties that we've been watching, and going forward in the future, we can see how I do. Our first prediction is that Rick and Morty, which had a disappointing fourth season, will probably improve markedly in its fifth. Our reasoning here is that season 4 seemed to be just chock full of not just bad ideas, but ideas that the show and the people making the show had actively mocked before this season. For instance, they had said they would never do time travel. They did time travel twice, both the Back to the Future, you change the past to the future is different variety, and also the sort of Groundhog Day looping variety of time travel. They also did jokes about not doing fantasy. There was a fantasy story in there. If you don't know, years passed between the making of season 3 and season 4 of Rick and Morty. A lot of the staff moved on, new staff came in, and even returning staff was bound to be cold after being away from the show that long. But when the show was renewed, it came back with a massive 70-episode order, which gave its showrunners, its creators, a lot of security. So I don't think it's implausible that they did a sort of throwaway season to warm up before they really got going. Further strengthening the case that Rick and Morty season 5 might be returned to form is the fact that Justin Roiland and some of the staff from Rick and Morty started a show called Solar Opposites during the downtime between seasons 3 and 4. Solar Opposites, those of us here at Intensely Casual, we watched it. We feel like it was maybe not the equal of Rick and Morty season 3, but definitely superior to season 4, very reminiscent of Rick and Morty season 1. So we have a strong belief that everyone involved still knows what they're doing and can bring the show back to form. My second prediction is that, barring something huge changing, unfortunately Disney's Mandalorian will be a failed series by the end of season 4. Disney might continue to produce it. It might even be profitable in some way, because we live in strange days. But I believe the buzz around that show will be, by the end of season 4, people looking back and trying to figure out where it went wrong. The answer could honestly be the finale of season 1, but I don't really want to get into that right now. So I could just say season 2, like all of season 2. Season 2 has made a huge number of mistakes, if you know what you're looking for, that could really ruin repeat experiences of this story. The two big ones I want to point out right now that you don't really need to be familiar with the Intensely Casual method to understand are Deus Ex Machina on one hand and fan service on the other. The Deus Ex Machina is a classic story mistake going all the way back to ancient Greek theater. So you don't have to take my word for it that it's a sign of bad storytelling. Deus Ex Machina, or often just called Ex Machina these days, is when the hero of a story is saved by some outside power just swooping out of the blue and rescuing them. This happens in at least half the episodes of The Mandalorian, where the Mandalorian is just saved by someone showing up out of nowhere. Like, you couldn't have predicted it, you're not expecting it, they just show up and save him. And frequently, characters doing the saving are previously established Star Wars characters being introduced to the Mandalorian storyline for the very first time. Which brings us to the second problem with The Mandalorian, fan service. As if trying to make up for the lack of story quality in season 2, They packed The Mandalorian with characters from other Star Wars television shows and series. And look, a lot of people loved it. So what's the problem? Well, there are a lot of problems with fan service, but here's one I want to leave you with today. Appeal normalizes. Just like a relationship with a really good-looking person, at first, the appeal is really intense, and you think your new partner is great because you're really attracted to them. But then the attraction doesn't so much wear off as you get used to it. It normalizes. And when that happens, you really start to see whether or not they're as great as you thought they were when you first started seeing them. And I have a feeling that the second season of The Mandalorian is going to seem much less attractive in retrospect. Of course, the best thing would be if you could find someone who is both attractive to you and good for you. Now, I can't help you there. But starting around the middle of 2021, I can start teaching you how to recognize your stories. The ones that are most likely to reward you with an experience as valuable as the time and the money you give up to experience it. Because again, at Intensely Casual, we're talking about commercial stories. Those stories someone's making money off of selling to you. Because we think it's very reasonable to ask that when someone's making a profit off of your entertainment, that at the very least, they deliver a quality product. So, if you're interested in this idea, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the middle of 2021.